Well, hello there, you great, wonderfully, and awesome people. How are you on this beautiful day? Any guesses what I'm doing today? Yep, we're trying to make the first class look pretty. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about what I got sitting up front. Why don't we go take a look at that? On our way up there, I just want to cover something really quick, guys. We've hit the over 3,000 subscriber mark. Amazing. Purely amazing, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. I never thought when I started a daily vlog that I'd ever see over 3,000 subscribers. And I've told you guys repeatedly how much I appreciate you, and I thank you for that. I can't believe you guys kind of like I can't believe you guys like listening to what I have to say. Sometimes it scares me that you guys actually listen to what I'm saying. What's that? That's right. Let's talk about her. Guys, this is my 1986 Frieghtliner FLC 120 with a setback steer axle. And I wish this truck was up on jacks right now, but it's not. Isn't this amazing? This is when trucks were made. I am 6'4". See this? 6'4", and my hood is still taller than me. Amazing. Now, is she a show truck? Yeah, I'm going to call her a show truck. That's what she does. She goes to small shows. You're not going to go to a really big show with her and win a bunch of trophies and everything, because let's face it, the paint job is wore out. Unfortunately, she does not get a garage to park in. And she's a work truck, or was a work truck. She's not a work truck right now. She is retired. After over 30 years of work, wouldn't you want to retire? Wouldn't you want to just kick back and relax? And that's what she's doing right now. She is just kicking back and she is relaxing. Unfortunately, she does not get to sit inside a garage and relax, but that just means she gets to see the scenery around her as she sits there. Let's talk a little bit about First Class. First Class has been in my family for years. It's basically a family heirloom, I guess you could say at this point. This truck started off many years ago in Walt Hill, Nebraska. A great cousin of mine, Randy, he owned this truck. He was the first one in our bloodline, in our family, to own this truck. Sadly, Randy's no longer with us. He passed away a few years back, and it was a sad deal. He's no longer with us right now, but I like to feel that First Class, staying in the family, staying in the bloodline, is kind of just letting Randy live a little bit through the truck yet. You know, guys, there's times, Randy, tell you just a little bit about him. I used to run into him at truck stops in the middle of the night. I'd pull into a truck stop in the middle of the night, and I'd be standing there, and I didn't get to see Randy all the time. We were distant family, but I didn't get to see him all the time. But I'd be standing in line at the truck stop, and I'd feel a tap on my shoulder. And he'd be like, "Hey, big guy, could you move?" And I'd look back, and there's Randy. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. He's got the red eyes. You know how we all look in the middle of the night. And there was Randy, and we'd sit there for about a half an hour, and we'd catch up on everything we've missed or everything we've been talking about. Or I'd run into him at my grandma's house. He'd have a route that would go right through past my grandma's house, and I'd be there eating lunch, and he'd come pulling all the way up to the house in the truck. Either it was this truck or he was in a Peterbilt after this truck. He'd come pulling up there. He was a good man, and it was sad to see him go. But like I said, You know, there's times going down the road in this truck when I was working it every day, and when things were going great, you know, I'd just look up at the sky and say, hey, big guy, what do you think of this thing? It's sitting down here in Atlanta, Georgia, or it's sitting out here on the East Coast, down in North Carolina, or it's sitting down here at the Mexico-American border. You know, the old girl is still going up and down the road. What do you think, man? And of course, there was times when this truck would break on me in the middle of the night going down the road, and I'd say, Randy, I hate this truck. I'm just letting you know, man. So that's a little bit about Randy and where this truck first started in our bloodline. Oh, do I miss having a light hood. That's a light hood. Well, let's go ahead and take a little look underneath the hood. How many of you can say you've seen that in your truck? That right there, guys, is a Big Cam 400 Cummins. And guess what? It's mechanical. Oh, God, I love a mechanical engine. You could come out of a truck stop when your truck was parked there, and you knew right where your truck was at. Either you would see your truck, the smoke coming out of the stacks, or you could smell it. There is no better smell than a mechanical Cummins sitting there looking at you. And sometimes I still smell them going down the road, getting rare. I don't see them, I don't smell them nearly as much as what I used to. This is the second engine in this truck since I've had it. When I got it, it had this exact same motor in it. That motor got weak, it got wore out, and it was time to get a new one. And I was thinking about putting a B model mechanical Caterpillar in there, but I veered away from it because we had this one. This one was a fully rebuilt Big Cam 4 Cummins, ready for the road, already good to go, and that's what went in it. And I love this engine, I really do. She's not near the engine as that C16 Cat I have in my truck, but in the W9 first class, you guys all know her. But it's a fun little rocket. That's what I'm going to put it at. It's a little rocket. Biggest complaint I had on the Cummins, guys, you old timers, you know what this is, right? Yep, look at that. That's a throttle stick. Now, a mechanical motor, there's no reaching up and hitting the cruise control button to idle the motor up. So at nights, on cold nights, hot nights, basically anytime you wanted to idle that engine up, you would have to take this, put it right there, take that, put it right there, and that would be your throttle. That's right, guys, that would be your throttle lock. Unfortunately, these things right here mixed with a mechanical Cummins are not consistent. There was nights you would wake up and that motor would either be screaming or that motor would just be at a dead idle in the middle of winter, barely holding 100 degrees, and you're freezing back in that itty bitty little sleeper. So that's why I kind of thought about veering away to the Caterpillar, but I didn't do it. I stuck with the Cummins, and I'm happy I did it, but like I said, it would get almost annoying how much you would try to just keep that thing idling. And it used to have the twist and the throttle lock that way, which wasn't any better than that style of throttle lock that I have there. But when I put the new engine in it, I think I broke the throttle lock, the cable style with the churn, and I just never put it back in there. But yeah, other than the interior, guys, the interior is basically just like what your Frieghtliner Classic is today. So the interior is really nothing too fancy. Just like on the other truck, you know, the windows are tinted. I gotta have tinted windows. Now we just move into the bedroom. There's your bedroom, boys and girls. Now a lot of you old timers are gonna say, yep, that's the bedroom in those things. That was luxury back then. That's the bedroom, that's it. I would stand up, there was no way a 6'4" man was gonna stand up in here and get dressed. So you just got used to getting dressed while laying down. We got to take a real quick break here, guys, because look at this stud. Look at the man. That is the man. Little Bud is his first year in tackle football, and he's going to get her done. So we're going to be back with you here shortly. Yeah, well, practice is done, Bud. How was your game? Was your game good? I know it was a tough one. Your practice was very tough. How was it? Good. How was tackle? Fun. Did you get any downs? Did you knock any quarterbacks down? Knock any players with the ball down? Uh-huh. Yeah? Yeah, they said
The coaches said I was linebacker material.
Linebacker material.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of you, buddy. All right, guys, let's get back to the Frieghtliner and we'll keep going.
The bungalow.
Get away from me, child.
Stop it. Stop it! Stop!
All right, back to this big girl. Sorry about the distraction, but it has to be done, guys. It's part of being a family guy and being in the trucking. Where are we? Oh, it's not as light going back up. Okay, where were we? All right, we were talking about the second owner. The second owner of the truck in my bloodline was my Uncle Scott. Scott had it for a few years. He ran it, gosh, he pulled an anhydrous bottle with it. He pulled a hopper bottom with it. A grain trailer is a hopper bottom, if anybody's wondering. God, what else did he do with it? He pulled a dry van for a few years with it. He actually took the sleeper off of it for a little bit. Ugh, imagine this truck without a sleeper. It was icky. Then he went out and got a Peterbilt for some reason. After he got a Peterbilt, he put this girl in the weeds, I think. Not really the weeds, it just went to hibernation. You guys remember Scott. I've talked about him before. He was the one that ran trucks for a long time, and then due to health reasons quit driving truck and went to throwing the wrenches around, and now I just call him a lawnmower man. Oh, let's think. When Scott had it, I always yelled at him. I said I was going to take his black tape away from him. He'd wire things up with black tape, but then he always told me, well, not black tape. When you don't use black tape, that means it's just permanent. Ha ha, funny, funny. Then in 2012, I took ownership of the Frieghtliner. In 2012, I put it on the road, running wet distilled grain up and down the interstates, or back roads technically, between Iowa and Nebraska. That truck right there, guys, that truck right there would run, I'd gross out anywhere from 90 to 95,000 pounds. Let's say hi, Warden. Hi, Warden.
Hi.
Hi. I'd gross out from 90 to 95,000 pounds every day, running gravel roads, running hills, running about anything you can imagine, mud, snow. During the time when I was pulling the belt trailer, pulling the distilled grain around Iowa and Nebraska, when it got slow into the feed world, the cattle world, I would hook on to the reefer trailer and go pull it around. And it was nothing huge then. It was either down to Kansas or down to Indianapolis, you know, little stuff, nothing big. Well, like a lot of work does, the ethanol plants where I got my distilled grain started to slow down a little bit with wet distillers. The feed yards got a little bit too unpredictable for what I wanted. So I decided to go full-time pulling the reefer trailer. Now back then I was running a lot harder than what I am right now, which is kind of weird. I had a smaller truck with a bedroom that was very tiny, and I would run a lot harder, a lot of miles in this truck. This truck's been out to the East Coast, down to the southern border, down to Arizona. This old girl's been about everywhere with me. Yeah, been about everywhere with me, but I could tell she was getting hard on it. You know, it was starting to wear and tear faster. You know, the loads were lighter than when I was pulling the belt trailer, but when I was pulling the belt trailer, I knew the roads. So, you know, the big bumps, the craters, you know, I knew to go around them. So it was starting to get rougher than what I wanted it to be on this truck. And about that time, guys, the kids were getting old enough. They wanted to ride along with Dad in the truck. And they did. They rode with me in that truck for a while, and we made it work. You know, we'd sleep, you know, head to feet in that sleeper, and it worked for a little bit, but it really wasn't working out the best. Then on top of that, the truck's getting up there in age. You'd go to get parts for it if you broke down out on the road, and you could still get parts, but they tell you they were a week, maybe 2 weeks out, and you're not going to sit at a hotel for 2 weeks waiting for parts. So you will put the truck together. You will make it work to get home. That's one thing I can say about Someday right there is that truck has never once been on a wrecker. Never once. First class, my Kenworth, it's been on a wrecker twice. That truck never once was on a wrecker, because if it broke, guess what? I could fix it. I could get it back on the road good enough to at least get me home. You weren't gonna win any marathons on the way home with it, but you could at least get home with it. So a lot of guys are asking why I don't run it up and down the road anymore, and well, that's about the reasons. You know, the parts for it, they're getting harder to find, and the kids wanted to ride with me, so I wanted a little bit more of a luxury, more room, just to make it more relaxing for them to ride with me. So we upgraded, we parked this thing, and me and little bud, we kind of decided this thing was just going to be a parade truck and a show truck. Now the paint job is taking a beating, guys. I'm not dumb. The paint job's on it rough. You can see where I've put Bondo. You know, we need a new grill, we need a new bumper. The interior is in the process of looking better, but it's not there yet. So, but we still call it a parade truck and a truck show truck. That works, right, bud?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are quiet today. So basically, guys, quick rundown. 1986 Frieghtliner FLC 120, big cam Cummins 4 for the engine, 13 speed for transmission, 373 rear ends. For mileage, no clue, not a clue. That truck's had a couple speedometers. I can tell you the motor on it right now has got a little bit under 200,000 miles on the motor. Everything else, we have not a clue. And that's just the way it rolls sometimes with old trucks. Well, guys, I could sit here and I could ramble on for another 20 minutes about that truck. I don't think you guys want to listen to me talk for another 20 minutes, so we're just going to stop talking. This is the point that I tell you, if you like the video, like it, and if you want to subscribe, please subscribe. We actually are going somewhere with this channel. I'm very shocked, but we are. You guys, keep yourself safe. And as always, I'll see you next time. Oh God, I forgot how fun it was to drive this truck.